My name is Ben Ashero Igberi. Welcome once again to our channel. Today, we are going to be revisiting the minimum wage issue. Recently, the federal government and the labor unions reached an agreement to increase the minimum wage of the Nigerian worker to 70,000 naira monthly. Fair deal, especially given the tough times going on in the nation. But let's think a little bit, because I consider this a bribe. First, I believe this is a bribe to the workers for allowing Tinubu to be president. Second, it is a bribe for continuing to allow him to be president. Third, it is a bribe for allowing Tinubu to remove the subsidy without any cushioning effect happen, without the usual fight and shenanigans. But two questions arise in my mind about the Udoji minimum wage. How about the consequent inflation that will follow in the wake of these increased wages? Will the minimum wage be enough to cushion it? The cycle has been that inflation follows and often overtakes the minimum wage increment. A vicious cycle, if you ask me. How does throwing money at workers to curb a rise in cost of living actually help the workers when all that does is only further raise prices? We love money so much that we lose sight of what the money can actually buy. All of this throwing money at issues is because of a failure of government to put in the hard work to come up with actual solutions to problems. The solution to the Nigerian problem is quality work. Productivity that brings about a quality output. And that is what everyone does not want to tackle because our focus is on money. To begin with, in increasing the pay of the workers, which labor keeps requesting and the government keeps obliging, did the government include in the terms of the agreement a request for a quality level of diligence and productivity that is commensurate with the pay increment? You cannot just increase pay for incompetence, idleness, mediocrity, and indolence like the types seen in the civil service across the country. Yes, I'm on the people's side, but I'll speak the truth. Because that, to me, is a bribe. In all of the ministries in the civil service, what you find is absenteeism, ghost workers, incompetence, redundancy, and kleptomania. Let's face it. And a government increasing pay for this without as much as asking for a change in the work ethic of its employees is the height of negligence. Indeed, it is preposterous. Why do we employ and keep increasing pay for workers doing nothing? Again, the solution to the problem of inflation itself is ironically productivity. The one thing the government of Nigeria refuses to tackle in our quest for pay increment that will only increase inflation. The poor balance of trade that is the culprit for the devaluation of our currency is simply a reflection of our low productivity and low quality products. But fixing the productivity is too complex a problem for our leaders, even with abundant human resources God bless us with. But even more importantly, higher productivity will naturally reduce costs through availability. By fixing the productivity problem, you in one go fix inflation via a higher value currency through higher balance of trade. And the supply and availability problem, the two factors driving inflation in Nigeria. And this is too complex for the thinking processes of our leadership. All we think about is how to spend money on things we don't need, on things that will not help the nation. Why can't we think? There are solutions within our fingertips for these problems. All we need to do is to have presence of mind. Presence of mind. That is what is lacking. Because we are busy doing things that don't matter. We are busy focusing on what helps nobody. Nigeria is one of the richest countries on the earth, whether we like it or we don't. But because we do not apply our resources properly, we are faced with all of these issues. Because we have leaders and leaderships whose agenda is not people oriented, who are confused about why they have power, whose priorities are misplaced. That is why we cannot solve our problems. So a government will continue to increase wages for workers that are unproductive because the government itself is unproductive, because the government itself is not trying to tackle productivity. They don't even know that a word like that exists. Because tell me, with an active population of over 200 million, a population that is majorly youthful and able, why can't we meet up with our balance of trade? Why is there no productivity? Why are our products of low quality? That's what is bringing our naira down. And instead of the government focusing on how to harness the resources, the human resources that we are blessed with, it's thinking about how to bribe them to continue to allow him to be president because he knows that he doesn't deserve that office. As the results have shown. Let's speak truth to power without fear, because that's the only way to fix this country. We cannot continue to fold our tails between our legs. We cannot continue to play ostrich while we are dying. We need to speak up. Nigeria has to change. We need better leaderships. Like I say always, democracy does not thrive in ignorance. If we do not expose ourselves to the facts prevailing, we'll continue to get same of the same. We need to cause a disruption in the system. We need to tell the truth to the people, to arm them with wisdom, to make good choices on election day. Because that's a critical decision that has continued to fail us. When President Obasanjo was in office, it was a good choice, and you all saw the results. We need another like him, and we need to be exposed to what we actually need. We need to know what that vote in our hands means. Otherwise, we'll continue to get more of the same. Bribery of the civil service to continue to allow mediocrity and impudence. That's what needs to change.